Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. Sunday, the 2nd of March. Only a few days' time until Liverpool play PSG. Only just under a week until Liverpool play Southampton at home. One away, one at home. It's one of those lazy Sundays, isn't it? Not too much maybe going on in the news, not too many things happening LFC wise, but that's not a bad thing. This is a little bit of downtime possibly before for the players before it all really kicks off. And even then, when I say kick off, only 4 games in March, isn't there? And annoyingly, an international break. Who needs those things? You might be a passionate defender of your country. You might be a passionate around your national team, but international breaks for me just get in the bin. So yeah, 4 games to get through. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a pretty mild, it's a good word for it, mild Edinburgh right now. Hopefully it's nice in the world wherever you are. But ladies and gents, you didn't come here to listen to the weather. You came here to hear about everything that's going on LFC-wise, every rumour, everything that's developing at the moment. And there is only one place to start with this realistically, isn't there? Alexander Isak. I was going to say Isaac, but it is Isak specifically, isn't it? So here's the name on everyone's lips. Maybe, just maybe, it's a manifestation one, but various stories linking the Swedish Newcastle forward to Liverpool. £120 million seems to be the going mark at the same time as well. Now, we've done a bit of digging on this to really try and sort of understand, establish, pinpoint, whatever you want to call it, what's going on. All the info we're getting back is Liverpool really like this player. And it would be easy to just drop it in there. No chance, not happening, link basket, dismissed by a few. David Lynch, I know, said he's really struggling to see this, so don't get your hopes up on this one. Here's the info that we've got so far, and obviously you can see it there on the screen. The big question is it feasible? It almost feels like certain markers, milestones have got to be hit for this to even come onto the table. In simple terms, if Newcastle qualify for the Champions League, it becomes near on impossible. In fact, for me, if Newcastle qualify for the Champions League, I would almost dismiss it straight away. So let's just put that on the table first of all. Top 5 looks like it's going to get the Champions League, does it, at the moment? So Newcastle currently sitting 6th, 2 points behind Chelsea. Some tough fixtures coming up for them at the same time as well, like West Ham away. If you look at the top 4, the only one you probably think would drop out there is Forest. That's the big question mark. They have a 4-point gap with 11 to play on Newcastle. You maybe also think Villa, only 2 points behind, but they have played a game more, haven't they? So it could be possible for them, but that's the first thing to say. In simple terms, if Isak is wanted, the Champions League has to be a no-no for Newcastle. Then the second hurdle, if you want to call it that, is he has to say, because we're not in the Champions League, I want to go. I want to depart Newcastle. Does he do that? I actually think he will if they're not in the Champions League. That's the second big hurdle. And the third hurdle is, well, it's an open market. If you think we are going to be the only team in for Isak, if he is even available and we've jumped through those hoops, yeah, you've got another thing coming, haven't you, realistically? And it's funny there, LAPS saying we like a lot of players and do nothing. That's the problem. Also, Russell, a point I was going to make there, mate, so we sell half our attack for one. Great sarcasm on Sunday morning. Yeah, going to work well, that. I get Russell's point, though. It is one of those that you suspect Núñez is going to depart. I think everyone suspects that. Probably another, maybe Diaz for me, most likely. Others are speculated on Jota being one as well, maybe both. Who knows? But it would be a case of blowing the entire budget that you've made there and maybe leaving yourself one short. The other thing in the column as well is injury record. He missed the game against us, didn't he, the other night? And if you just look on average, he does miss approximately, give or take, 20 to 25% of games a season. So that goes into the other column at the same time. Now, just to flip it back a bit, if for those who watch, me and Bart's did a transfer market metrics where we actually talked about Isak and looked at him alongside Ekitike. So that was a player that Liverpool have also been linked with at the same time. So just something to call out from this video here.
If you compare him, do we say Ekitike, was he up front or not? Was he more down the middle?
Yeah. He can play wide, but up front a lot, yeah.
Right. So here he's got as a forward. So comparing him with the lad we just looked at, Isak, very, very similar. I'm not going to not beat around the bush here, but he is going to come from abroad. Okay, so he is going to have a bully tax. So all of these metrics, you're going to have to take 50% off per 90. Yeah. But he does profile very similar. He doesn't pass the ball as well as Isak, and his touches in the box and his tackles and aerials are not as good. But in terms of a lot of the other metrics, he's on par. Okay. We also know he's rapid. Just to know as well, the other stat that I didn't give you for Isak.
Isak's quick as well, but he's not Ekitike quick. However, a key point there, because I see a lot of people linking certain forwards with us, and it's interesting. Ekitike, as was mentioned here, the bully tax, the stats adjustment looks quite slender. So you have question marks around him. So any overseas signing, and people will refer back to Darwin Núñez at the same time, just has that little bit of a question mark around it. LAPS saying, realistically, we all know we won't get him. I am kind of going through this clearly, I'm mapping it out fully. Why I suspect it's unlikely, but not impossible. I'm sure everyone's listening to this. The other thing to say is, if you look at the other strikers or forwards, I should say, we've been linked with, Kuna, he didn't help his case. Did anyone see that red card yesterday where sort of manhandles, just loses his shit, basically, doesn't he? Kirkers, I don't know if anything happened before at all, but that probably makes him difficult. João Pedro, he's one I think is realistic as well. Few question marks about his overall output. A completely different type of striker from Isak as well. Long story short there, people, I've spelled it all out, all the pros, all the cons. As I think I made clear, do I think this is going to happen? No, unlikely. Would I completely dismiss it? No. There is a lot of steps, though, as I mentioned, a lot of hurdles, if you want to call it, to overcome, to even see Isak in a Liverpool shirt. There you go, Russell saying, Kirkes wound him up all game, 4 bad fouls and ref did nothing. I don't know if that makes me feel any better at all. When I hear that, does it make you think of Núñez's debut? Do you remember Joachim Andersen was kind of shoving him against Palace, just nudging him all game, and in went the head. So maybe, just maybe, I don't know if that takes Kuna away off the list, but I am not going to completely dismiss it. And then the other point, Tony Hall mentions that Newcastle need a keeper and Gomez will be sold. I think Gomez would be interested in both. Maybe that can be part of the deal plus the Núñez money. That way we won't be short up front. That fair point, Tony. That was the only thing in my mind that we think back to last summer. There was a deal nearly done for Anthony Gordon, wasn't there, with Gomez going the other way. Quansah was asked for as well. Kelleher could be in the mix if they need a keeper. So that could just be something to consider in the Isak mix at the same time. Am I confident on it? Christ, no, I won't bet any money. But this may just be the one that rumbles on, although quickly extinguishes if Newcastle have got Champions League by the end of the season. We shall see. Now, other rumours that are doing the rounds. This one off Liverpool's official website, Castello Lou Caber. They are, or he is, sorry, a club. No, I'm trying to think how to put this best. Liverpool have a good relationship with Red Bull. Let's just be clear on that from a club perspective. We've done a lot of business. You know the names all the way through recently to Szoboszlai. No doubts about that. It's a good relationship. The player is very hyped. He seems to be linked with a lot of clubs, a lot of the big names as well. Me and Bart's ran him on transfer market metrics. There is a few things to like. There's no doubt about it at all. But for the money they are talking for a 22-year-old, the question marks for us are just too big. His aerial win rate under 60%, well below what we look for at a centre half. We know the monsters we want in the air. What, even far lower than Joe Gomez is at the bottom end of that scale. A bit green, I think it's fair to say as well. Liverpool clearly want Van Dijk and Konate to stay. So do we honestly believe we're going to spend the type of money? And the rumours, the suggestions are he has a £75 million release clause to bring this player as essentially a backup. Yeah, if we get what we want, essentially a backup. And I said this on the transfer show yesterday. Liverpool clearly need and want Van Dijk to stay. That I'm confident will get done. If he stays, I suspect Konate will stay as well. It does feel like a little bro, big bro relationship. So that is how I am seeing it. So spending this money, I just struggle to see it. Yanis there saying, yeah, like me, the Kuna head loss yesterday worries me despite his worldie goal. There's so much to like for Kuna. We know the price. We know it. We know his record. He's banged in 15 goals at Wolves who are right near the bottom. He can play across the front line in a few positions. But that's the second red card, second FA charge that's set to come his way. Yeah. Well, there we go. These are the other rumours that we're seeing. Luke Haber, you can never say 100%. Let's dismiss that. But that's where I'm going. The other one that I've seen, and it was on Anfield Index, there's a few stories about it. Anthony Robinson, the Fulham left-back. I think he was a former Everton youth product. Age is going to kill this one. Age is going to kill this one completely. I think he's nearly 28 years old. We are not signing a 28-year-old left-back. Fulham, a different system. And on his metrics, there is a lot to like. I would just completely dismiss this one. Maybe someone will disagree. And Russell, I can see your comment there. Football is about emotions. I've fed up of robots and systems giving his players so much creativity. That's great, but if he's getting sent off, if he's had the FA charge, if you honestly believe Liverpool won't consider that in the mix, yeah, let's be honest. Although, bit of information there that I didn't know. Anthony Robinson also has a heart problem. Wasn't aware of that. And even before that, I would just, for me personally, completely dismiss this one as a possibility. Just honest opinion, but the latest rumours, we say, Luke Haber, Robinson. And the only other thing I saw people suggest in the mix was people saying that, oh, Luke Haber can play left back. As history shows, he's played less than a dozen games that position in his career. So he could do it, but we're not going to spend 75 million on a third choice centre-back who can also drift over to the middle. It's just not going to happen. We shall see. All ramping up for the summer, this one, isn't it? Now, the Klopp documentary, that's what I'm calling it. Doubts into Believers. Has anyone watched it? I watched a bit and I got completely sucked in. To say, sound a hypocrite now from yesterday, I watched them all. There were some bits were interesting. The Klopp bits almost at the start and the end, the bookends, they're a bit heartbreaking almost for me. They are emotional. So this is, I'm going to play a clip. This is like the Sixth Sense bit. If you don't want to end or know how the whole thing ends, turn away right now. Okay, like turn your ears off. This is the bit where remember they used to say on the news, like when match of the day's coming, if you don't want to know the scores, turn away, flip over now. This is that bit. But the final bit of doubters to believers. Let's play it.
I left my office for the last time. I will be fine. And more importantly, the club as well. Because you saw the team now. That's a bunch of really good people. And they will be fine. Or even more.
They will be fine or even more. And honestly, if that doesn't sort of tug at your heartstrings a bit, I probably can't help you too much. I know some people like Yanis are saying that. I think it's a massive shame the documentary isn't showing or playing in the US. I generally think that is an absolute crying shame because there was always the bit when it came out, didn't it, around, well, we know how this ends. We know how it's going to finish. Are we going to see the heartache? But it's been done in such a way. I'll be honest now, I've seen it all, a style and a real taste to it. No two ways about it. But just that bit at the end, just that line, they'll be fine or even more. You just know how proud Kloppo is right now about everything he's seeing. You know how happy he is. I honestly hope whenever it happens, and touch wood, whenever it happens, even in the last day of the season, that he is there at Anfield, that he does get to see it. And I know people are going to say, oh, that overshadows Arne Slot. Like, let's just be clear. Think back to the end of last season. How did Arne Slot get announced? By Jurgen Klopp, pretty much on the pitch, getting us to chant his name. So I would absolutely love it if he's there last game of the season. Time will tell on that one. This one, though, there's a few articles people are sharing their opinions on. Where could it be won? There's a few different ones on Anfield Index. It's such a tough one to pick. And you have to look, I think, at the overall picture. And you are doing a bit of Mystic Meg guesswork here. I mean, if we look at it right now, we are 13 points. It looks a thing of beauty, that. I'm getting the Louvre, done it. 13 points ahead. Arsenal on 54, Liverpool on 67, having played a game more on 28. So Arsenal have 11 games left to play. Another 33 points maximum. Which, if you do the quick maths, takes you to 87. 87 is the absolute maximum Arsenal can finish off. So 21 points for Liverpool would win the title. That's assuming, and I know if Arsenal win all their games. So you start to think, and you start to look at a few fixtures and think, where does it happen for us? Now, just have a look at that next run of 5 or so. Southampton home, Everton home, Fulham away, West Ham home, Leicester away. That is our next 5 fixtures in the Premier League. On paper, I think those look great. I know there'll be the element of it's always tough in the derby and they will make it difficult. But if you actually look at that, how many points would you bet on? I'd probably go 15, maybe just me. But that's where I would go, honestly. Then you look at Arsenal's fixtures. Bit of a mismatch there. United away, Chelsea home, Fulham home, Everton home, Brentford home. The long short of it is, I really don't know. But actually, if you ask me to predict just the way I think the fixtures will fall, because I do think Arsenal start to score a few and win a few games, I actually think we're going to win the league in that Spurs game. 27th of April, that way. That is honest my prediction. Would I say that with absolute confidence? No. Do I say we're going to win the league? Yeah, with massive confidence. As Red Armchair Supporter says there, the tune. We all know which one we're humming in our minds right now. Be interesting to see what your thoughts are. Chuck them in the chat panel as people are starting to do. Tony asking there as well, do you think the 9.6 million was a confidentiality agreement for Klopp and the backroom staff? Maybe not the way I'd phrase it. I think just to be clear as well, Tony, the way it was put, and people have almost isolated this bit, they said the overall figure, the 9.6 million, actually included deferred Champions League bonuses as well as a payoff or the payment for all Klopp's staff. So I do think, I would be surprised if there's an NDA and certain things that, written into there that they can say, can't say. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. But I think it was part of the overall package for all the staff you can name as well. But yes, let's also be honest. Do we think Klopp would speak negatively about Liverpool or Linda's all those people? They're adored. They adore Liverpool. So yes, it will be in there as standard business practice. But yeah, just my honest thoughts on that one. Tony also saying, I can see 3 Arsenal draws in there. I could see a few. If you just isolate their fixtures next to R5, theirs probably looks a little bit more difficult, doesn't it? So I could easily believe there's a few Arsenal draw in the mix. We will see it. And yeah, exactly the right sentiment, Red Armchair Supporter. Klopp and his staff deserve it. I've seen quite a few and I understand that element of why they, all those elements. I understand that. I'm all right with it. I am more than all right with it personally. Just my opinion. So what else is coming on the docket for you this week? AI content. We have got absolutely loads coming for you. And we've already done bits for you. So just in case for the time today, we did loads yesterday. So we did a full run through of where we think there could be exits across goalkeeper, defence, midfield and attack. Some strong disagreements, some strong agreements at the same time as well. So if you want to watch those, they are there. And you can download them as normal if that's how you get your content. We also talked about linking it back to a bit Stat Me Up, Szoboszlai and McAllister and how well they did yesterday. Bit of things from the Scouser, Tommy. So Jay and Jim had to listen to this already. Love this part. I almost don't want to give too much away because there's a few good lines in it at the same time. Well worth a listen. And also, this one, really good one, an AI scouted. So that's Dave and Carl talking about a second club. That's still to be solved a little bit, isn't it? Or who's that's going to be? There's suggestions that Edwards is still looking at that inside out. So again, don't want to give too much away in case you're going to listen to it. But Dave and Carl talk about different clubs, different benefits. Well worth a listen on that. And as ever, general things on the website. And I want to leave almost for me, this is, I say guilty pleasure. That's a wrong statement, this one. This, for me, is my favourite one, the Minefield podcast. Alan Allen, well worth a listen, talking about, and again, I don't want to give it spoiler alert too much, but certain things around Slot's mentality, what he's brought to the club, how certain things are seen. I don't want to give too much more away than that. But if I was to recommend, and it's serious competition on AI, this is the one for me, the Minefield podcast. But all the others, absolutely brilliant to sort of feed your weekend if you're looking to do that. Coming up this week as well, we've got loads. So we'll have a 4-pod special coming out for you. It's also the build-up to the PSG game, isn't it? So all your normal shows, all the normal things coming this week. It is going to be absolutely busy galore. Everyone, maybe they stopped listening as soon as I talked about where's the league going to be won. Everyone is in on this. So Russell saying, I reckon we win soon. People saying there, North Red, it's Chelsea, that game away, like that famous Kenny half volley, wasn't it? Yeah. Tony, reckons it'll be done by April. Yanis saying 13 out the next 15, or the next that way for us. Arsenal 7 out of 9, reckon they're dropping that many points. If that's true, it could be done sooner than people think. It is strange that we're sat here on the 2nd of March, this confident. And honestly, I'm seeing people, and there's a few in the chat panel saying, don't get carried away. Nonsense. We are not the coaching staff. We are the fans. Yes, we've been bitten before, and we've got that PTSD from all the city chasers. No doubts about it at all. But get excited. Get a bit carried away. If you cannot enjoy these moments, what can you enjoy as a player? Let's be completely honest on that. As Red Armchair Supporter says there, what a time to be a Red. Yeah. What a time. And even this week, I see Russell saying there, never seen PSG this good. There's a few bits we've got coming out on PSG and assessing their threats. And being clear, they've got threats. Barcola, we love him. Emery, we'd love him. Dembele, maybe not, but he's banging in goals at the moment. Kavicha, we'd have all loved him. Let's not pretend for one single second. So we've got all the build-up to that. People saying, yeah, the threats they bring. So we've got a good analysis. Keep an eye out for Stat Me Up, Scouted, all the bits coming this week, as well as your normal things like David Lynch, Media Matters, Raw for 2 games. There is a million things coming up. And the final question I'll answer this week, because none of you buggers are doing the super chat, eh? You're throwing them in. You want me to shout out your opinions, not one single super chat. But Peter, as we put there, can we dominate over the next 5 years? I would desperately love to say yes on this, Peter, but there's 3 superstars who are going out of contract this summer. 2 of those superstars are a certain age where all the metrics and history facts indicate there will be a dwindling in their performance. Yes, they are the best in the world in their positions, but that has to be taken into account. Other teams will likely come again at the same time. Would love to say yes. Do I see it? Do you know what, Peter? Let's just think about this season and celebrate everything around that. But look to see your comments. Thank you for showing your thoughts. Thank you for agreeing. Thank you for disagreeing. Thank you for doing it in the right way. Essentially, people, thank you to everyone who's a Red and listens to or watches AI content. But there we go. On Sunday, the 2nd of March, a big week to come. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. That was another Daily Red for Anfield